Hello, welcome to this update. So let's see uh, an update for the severe weather today, Sunday. So as you can see here, the area expanded a lot. We have this light risk that goes all the way from Texas to Montana. So there's this marginal risk around it that's even bigger. So let's see here what's going on. There's these two areas of 15% for wind, spots of Texas, and another area further north from Kansas to South Dakota, and the 5% wind of those storms. There's hail in almost the whole slight risk, 15% chance for big hail, especially from Texas to Nebraska, the hatched area for potential some large hail. So be careful those areas. The tornado threat is interesting. There's this 5% tornado threat from Texas to Nebraska, and this 2% around it that goes until South Dakota. And there's this tiny 2% in Montana and North Dakota. So be careful in those areas, especially in these 5% spots of the central high plains. Can have some sneaky supercells. So isolate to scared severe thunderstorms are possible Sunday evening into early morning Monday across parts of the Great Plains. Large hail, severe gusts, and a few tornadoes are all possible. So be careful in those areas. Let's see if something changed here. No. So be careful. There's still for Monday tomorrow the moderate risk spots of Iowa, Wisconsin into Minnesota, and there's the enhanced risk as well goes from Kansas to Michigan, and there's it changed a little bit since our last update. Now, because the enhanced risk before was expanded further north, now it's more it's further south, like it went until Canada before. But now the slight risk and the marginal are very similar. So the slight risk goes all the way from Texas to Canada, and the marginal even bigger. So be careful in those areas. We have now the tornado probabilities. So we have 15% tornado probability spots of Iowa into Wisconsin, Minnesota, and the 10% around it in those areas too, including northern Illinois. So please be careful, especially those areas of the hatched area for 15%. Some strong tornadoes possible, and if the conditions are right, those supercells might even produce some long track tornadoes and intense ones if they tap into the environment. So please be careful. There's the 5% tornado that goes all the way down to Oklahoma, and the 2% goes all the way down to Texas. So be careful in those areas. There's the wind threat, 30%, 15%, and the 5%, of course. So be careful, especially the 30%, those damaging wind gusts. And hail, there's this very big area for hatched large hail, and the 30%, especially from Kansas to northern Michigan, the 30% hail. When I say northern, I mean the UP of Michigan, near northern Wisconsin. So please be careful, especially the large hail. And there's a moderate risk of severe thunderstorms central Iowa into southeast Minnesota and western Wisconsin. An outbreak of severe weather remains likely across parts of the upper Midwest, centered on Monday afternoon and evening. Very large hail, strong tornadoes, and damaging winds are expected. A strong 75 knot mid-level jet streak will advance through the central plains to the upper Midwest on Monday. As this occurs, the surface low will deepen across the upper Midwest with an eastward advancing dry line to its south and a cold front to the west southwest. A warm front will extend east of the surface low and move rapidly north throughout the day, spreading mid-60s dew points across much of the upper Midwest. So please be careful those areas. And they do say strong low-level shear will also favor some line-embedded tornadoes, particularly if their area within areas within the line which become more farby oriented to the low-level shear vector. So be careful. They say more here as well. So please stay safe. This link is in the description too. There's for Day 3 still have this gigantic slight risk, goes all the way from Texas to Vermont, and this marginal risk as well. So the probabilistic 5-15%. There's this area in Texas and Oklahoma hatched for potential some stronger storms. So scarce strong to severe storms expected along a frontal zone extends from the southern plains to the eastern Great Lakes. So be careful in those areas. And there's day 4 still, that 15% in northern Texas and branching almost into Oklahoma. So be careful. The rest of the days are still quiet. So let's see here. We still have like some mixed precipitation, some snow in higher spots of the Rockies, and here for the slight risk of excess rain for Montana into northern Wyoming today, and the marginal risk too. So be careful. We have this big slight risk for excess rainfall tomorrow, Monday. It goes all the way from Montana to Wisconsin. So be careful. And the marginal risk goes all the way down to Texas. Day 3 is a slight risk from Texas to Missouri. Day 4 still a slight risk of flash flooding. Day 5 a marginal. So please be careful in those areas. We have this part of the north that have heavier corridor of precipitation all the way from southern Montana, which shows a lot, into Minnesota and North Dakota. Those storms in this area, further south, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, close to even 4 to 5 inches next 5 days. So be careful, that's even 7 days. So yeah, be careful. There's still the snow in the Rockies today, especially southern Montana and Wyoming tomorrow as well. So be careful in those areas. And later still shows a thing or two in the Rockies, especially day 4. So be aware those areas. There's still the extreme fire danger. Today's spots of New Mexico, and let's see if this loads here. So into western Texas and maybe even far southeastern Arizona. So please be careful. And there's the elevated and the extreme around it. So don't burn anything and stay safe. Please be careful with any active fires and stay safe. Let's see here now for these storms. So there's the HER for today, Sunday, the potential significant tornado parameters. So it does show towards Texas, northern Texas, Oklahoma. Later this afternoon, some more tornado parameters possible. So be careful in those areas, especially there in the 5% tornado threat, because later in the evening, the HER ramps up even a little bit more spots of the Texas Panhandle, those tornado parameters. So be careful. Those areas and spots of Oklahoma, Kansas should all be watching this with those storms. And later in the evening, I don't know what the HER is doing here, but it's showing some insane parameters near 6 spots of northern Texas and Oklahoma. So I don't know if this will come true, but just be watching just in case, because this here is a very powerful signal for tornadoes. Still, late in 5Z during the night shows more, but there will only be tornadoes if there's a storm in that area of those parameters. If the parameter is high and there's no storm, then there won't be a tornado. But so just be watching those areas. Be careful, please. There's Monday now. Uh, this is the 12C1. I don't know if it's completely updated about tomorrow, but it does show some higher parameters right in the moderate risk there across Wisconsin and Iowa, spots of Minnesota, especially later in the evening tomorrow, Monday. Some very high parameters in Wisconsin, close to 8, 7. So please be careful. And around 0Z shows like into Minnesota, those very high parameters Monday evening. So please, please be careful. There's like the Cape as well for those times, especially Monday afternoon, slightly earlier. Let's see, maybe around 23. So shows some higher Cape area, especially southeastern Minnesota, close to 3,000 to 3,500 joules per kilogram, and into Iowa and Wisconsin, more than 2,000 joules per kilogram. So please be careful. In Oklahoma and Texas shows some higher Cape as well, and spots of Iowa especially. So please be careful tomorrow. There's here the updraft helicity for the whole run. So let's just put it until Tuesday. Shows like those storms from today. Although there's those higher tornado parameters there, storms itself is not showing that much. It has a storm around Oklahoma and some crazy things in Montana. But tomorrow the HER is showing more near Wisconsin, spots of Minnesota, in some areas. But I'm entirely sure this will change still because a moderate risk is a big deal, and there'll be more storms than it's showing here. This will still change, but just uh, worth taking a look at. So please be careful. There's something here as well. So this is the GFS. There's this trough coming in now in the southwestern US that's bringing some below average temperatures there, and also that snow in the Rockies and some precipitation. And this is what will move into the plains and cause that severe weather today and the moderate risk tomorrow there. So please be careful in those areas, especially later, yeah, and this keeps going. So stay safe. Today, the HER itself, it does have this evening some storms near South Dakota and Nebraska, some stronger ones in eastern Montana. So you could see some sneaky stuff near eastern Montana today. Just be aware. And across Texas this evening, central western Texas, those areas, some maybe some supercells as well. So be careful. And for Monday tomorrow, it doesn't go as far out, but it already shows the powerful front there in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and even shows a storm or two around Texas and northern Mexico, some storms. So be careful those areas. And there's the Cape here too, and here's better for visualizing. So it does show this evening the HER is even like to 4,000 joules per kilogram Cape in northern Texas today. So that's very high. Be careful those storms. And then this goes Monday shows like Monday evening in Iowa, those areas, those bright pinks are like more than 3,000 joules per kilogram, close to 3,500, 3,200, especially in Iowa and Minnesota. So that's a lot of Cape there. So any supercells that manage to be semi-discrete or something to form in that favorable environment can produce some very intense tornadoes. The question still is how exactly the storm mode will be, if the dry line will win or if the front will be more prevalent. But we're still seeing about that. But just if you are there, just be prepared. This like tomorrow, so just have a small plan, a safe place to go in case of a tornado. Know what to do in a tornado. Just prepare today, and be careful. So here there's like, let's see if there's something else. So still for that snow in some spots of the Rockies shows next 5 days in Colorado, some spots of central Utah, northern Utah as well. In Nevada, it still shows a tiny bit in California, spots of Wyoming, into southern Montana as well, and in Idaho, central Idaho. So be aware. And here to see it kind of better, shows even to 8 inches, some 17 inches in the mountains, even to 12 inches, the European. The icons just to 6 inches, but in Montana, the icons is like to 30 inches in Montana. So be careful, might get heavy those areas there. Still shows in Canada. Next 5 days until May 2nd, until Friday, shows spots of British Columbia even to 70 centimeters, more than 70. Some of the northwestern territories, Yukon, still more further south in British Columbia, spots of western Alberta, especially northern half of Manitoba, shows more, and Ontario shows some in Quebec, spots of Labrador, some more snows in 27, 31 centimeters. So be careful, especially Sunday today shows a tiny bit of freezing rain in Manitoba. Be careful, and shows that heavy rain in Newfoundland still happening there. Sunday, Monday shows those severe storms might affect southern Ontario as well. So be careful, southwestern Ontario and southern, even central Ontario into Tuesday morning or Monday night shows some severe storms, and this freezing rain right behind it and some snow. So be careful, like severe storms, snow, and ice all in one day. So be careful. This goes shows storms in Quebec Tuesday into Wednesday, maybe in New Brunswick as well, and some snow in Quebec and Labrador later. So stay safe, and after that still might have some snow. So be careful. There's still rain accumulation in the plains there in the US, even to 5-6 inches in some spots, the European model, and most of eastern Canada, more rain as well. And rain and snow will be a mix there. And in the Pacific, southern Alaska, some heavy rain on the coast, and spots of British Columbia maybe. But especially snow, those spots in Alaska, those mountains, more than 4 inches in some spots. So be careful. Central Alaska, some snow as well. So stay safe. Still those colder temperatures further in northern Canada. Those A is 90s Fahrenheit. Southern Texas and Florida still warmer. Like central US ahead of that front is still warmer. And right behind this system, like right on Tuesday morning, already shows some 30s Fahrenheit, 20s, 30s spots of the northern plains. Behind that, the European even has like 26 Fahrenheit. Right behind the front, some 50s, and ahead some 70s. So be aware too that temperature change in southeastern Canada as that comes through slightly colder as well, and in the Rockies remains cold in the high elevations there. So be careful in those areas. Still in Alaska, those colder temperatures. There are some teens, single digits in Alaska, spots there. So stay safe, and still close to minus 20 degrees Celsius, spots in northern Canada, northwestern territories in Nunavut, even northern Quebec. So be careful. And there's still here this temperature map, and let's see what they have for snow. They have only next 48 hours spots of southern Montana, even to 20-30 inches, those bright colors. So be careful, those accumulations there. Ice, not really much. Most of ice is in Canada, but those show those higher wind gusts in New Mexico, in Colorado today, those areas. So stay safe in those areas. Be careful, especially those damaging wind gusts. And not only that, that's the fire danger. So those fires can spread faster. And shows in Montana, a few spots gust here, and yeah, so be careful those areas. And just to see here like some other model ideas for the severe weather. So there's the NAM2 for like precipitation. Let's see if we find something here. That's good. So for Monday, so here this goes shows 3Z, 12Z. This is not the highest resolution, but let's see what we can get with this. So it does show, I'm not liking this. Sorry. So be careful. One thing I forgot to show you is still there's the extreme risk of fire danger today and the elevated for Monday tomorrow. So be careful in those areas, and let's see what else we can get here. There's like a little bit in more detail some cape from the her for Sunday today. It has like really high values in the planes this evening there, so be careful. And tomorrow evening it has in Iowa even to more than 3,600 joules per kilogram, so please stay safe in those areas. And one thing we didn't check are dew points. So the her has also some like 68 dew points in Minnesota. In Iowa, some mid 60s to high 60s dew points ahead of that front. So that's a big warm sector, a lot of moisture. So any supercells that form that environment will have the potential to go very big. So please just stay safe there, warn others, and we'll probably have another video tomorrow to update on this as well. So stay tuned, but uh, have your local weather sources to receive warnings, like news and updates, especially for today, those storms, especially tomorrow if you're in Iowa, in Minnesota, and those areas for the severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, especially. So have some ways to receive warnings. Let's see if I get something interesting with these other models here. So there's the NAM shows tomorrow evening in northern Iowa, spots South Dakota, shows are in Kansas, some stronger storms, and the her by that time, or a little bit earlier, shows more Minnesota, spots in Nebraska. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow, but please stay safe. Just be careful in those areas, and especially like today and tomorrow and everything. So be careful. Let's just see some wind again here, because now is Sunday. There's those strong gusts in the southwest there. Let's see Canada first. Some stronger winds in the Labrador Sea, but into Tuesday, Wednesday, some high gusts in southern Ontario. Be careful, even 73 km per gust. In Quebec, some spots as well. This goes shows in southern Quebec even to like 99 km per gust. On the European New Brunswick as well. Northern Maine to 4 is equal to 50 mile per gust by Wednesday afternoon. Spots of Newfoundland. So this goes, and maybe Nova Scotia Thursday afternoon. So be careful those strong gusts, and this just the wind by itself. It's not the wind from the severe weather tomorrow, which with those storms the wind will be much stronger. So be careful. But today Sunday, some stronger winds in the northeast, those spots in the Rockies in the southwest, especially later today. The Europeans even just 62 mile per gust. The icons like very low, just 45. And the GFS is somewhat different, shows more in the plains there. So this goes, and stronger winds that low pressure forming spots of the northern plains and Midwest tomorrow, the severe weather, and this goes potentially spots of Michigan as well Tuesday evening, Tuesday afternoon. So stay safe and be careful in those areas, especially tomorrow those storms. So stay safe.